This is iCastNews.com, live and direct from United Nations headquarters in New York City. And this is heat in the Middle East. The civil war in Syria is destabilizing the entire region. It's spreading into Lebanon. It's affecting Iraq. But most of all, it's affecting the more than 3 million, that's 3 million refugees who've been sent out of the country into neighboring regions. Refugees in UN refugee camps and living with relatives in Turkey and in Jordan and even in Iraq are creating quite a burden for those societies that are themselves not well off. The United Nations has asked for more countries to take more refugees. They have petitioned the world to take in at least 100,000 refugees, and the world has responded. 28 countries, most of them in the European Union, have pledged to take in up to 100,000 refugees. And while they're not quite meeting the budget of $6 billion to support refugee transfer, migration, and maintenance, they're about, $500 million in pledges right now. There is something new on the horizon. After years of doing nothing, the United States is coming forward, pledging to bring somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 Syrian refugees to the United States. Ann C. Richards, the Assistant Secretary of State for Migration, Population, and Refugees, said this past week that last year the United States resettled 70,000 refugees from 70 countries. 70,000 refugees from 70 countries. Now she's saying that the United States is turning its attention to refugees from Syria. Ms. Richards says that we are reviewing some 9,000 recent UN High Commission for Refugees referral from Syria. We're receiving roughly 1,000 new ones each month, and we expect admissions from Syria to surge in 2015 and beyond. Surge is a very popular word in Washington, but it means people are being given a chance. There's attention being paid. The State Department, through the International Organization for Migration, will provide transportation, medical exams, and then it's up to civic organizations to take the refugees and settle them into America. During the 1930s, the United States established a university in exile, led by Alvin Johnson, the man who was the editor of the Encyclopedia for Social Sciences and a leader of the New School for Social Research. Scholars fleeing Nazi Germany found a haven. Some of them contributed enormously to America's intellectual and creative lives. Some of them became scientists that aided in the development of significant projects that made our modern lives so important. 183 individuals were settled with their families in the university in exile. The cause in Syria is no less acute. And so here's the new thought and the new proposal. America has some 629 or so public four-year universities, more than 1,800 private universities. That's 2,100 some odd universities, institutions that should be contributing to national debate, to international action, and have something to say about their role in the world. It's time for America's colleges and universities to step up. To step up the way they did in the 1930s by taking in scholars. It's not only good for them, it's good for their students, it's good for the society, and it's a good contribution. This commentator, like Mr. Kaltenborn, K.V. Kaltenborn, the great radio analysts and television analysts of the news in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, lives in a little New York town called Stony Brook. So in honor of him, we're going to call this the Stony Brook Proposal. Each American university should take in one doctor, one nurse, one professor, one teacher of Arabic, one good intellectual soul coming out of that well-educated population in Syria. For each 10,000 students, each American university should take one individual, one professor, one scholar, one thinker, one innovator, one doctor, one nurse. And for each additional 10,000 students, they should take another. And those American universities fortunate enough to have endowments of more than $2 billion should double that. No university need take more than 4 individuals and their families. Welcome them. Make them part of America's intellectual life. Make them part of the university community. Learn from them. Maybe these people, under the Stony Brook Proposal, will help America learn more about the Arabic world, learn more about the Middle East, learn more about the great wealth of talent, education, culture that is Syria, and that is being such a long-suffering subject of American inaction and world inaction. The Stony Brook Proposal is simple. For each 10,000 students, each American higher education institution need take one qualified individual from Syria, someone who comes along the list of people, the 9,000 people list that's been vetted by the State Department. It's a decent thing to do. It's a great thing to do for students, for intellectual excellence, for a diversity of ideas, and to assert that universities are the home and center of morality, right-thinking action, and involvement in American life. For ICAStNews.com, live and direct from United Nations headquarters in New York City, for Heat in the Middle East, I'm Jonathan Sanders.